Welcome to the All Life's Hats podcast, hosted by Tanae Hoffman, where we talk about all life's hats we wear. Today's episode actually comes about from a conversation I had with my daughter. She made an interesting statement to me. We were driving to school one day, and she goes, "Daddy and father are the same thing." And I'm like, "No, boo-boo." I call it boo-boo. "That's not the same thing." She looks at me very confused. I'm like, daddy is one thing, a father is a different one. And for those who've had tumultuous past like me, understand what that statement is. So my father is still alive. He lives with my parents. They're divorced, but they still live together. That I still haven't understood. But I don't really have a relationship with my father. I mean, I see him on a regular basis because I see him when I see my mom, but we don't really have a relationship because he is an alcoholic. He is the reason I have a lot of trust issues with guys. He has a lot of issues. And medically, I'm surprised he is still around because he had diabetes, high blood pressure, and I think a kidney disorder. Growing up, my father wasn't the best influence on me. I mean, he had his anger issues. He has history of being abusive. And it's not, this podcast or this episode is not to just bash my father the entire time, but it's to paint the picture of why I think there's a difference. My father has no sense of accountability for his actions. He believes that as his children, we should owe him something. He doesn't understand why me and my brothers have distanced ourselves from him. And he doesn't understand how toxic he is. Even my daughter doesn't like him. She only can take him in small doses. And for a 5-year-old to already sense something's up with someone, it's a big indicator. I grew up in a 2-parent household, but I basically was raised by my mom. My father spent most of from what I can remember, my father spent a lot of the time drunk. And when you grow up with alcohol, you think some things are really normal. But talking to other people, you realize how not normal it is. Like, alcoholics defy the laws of physics. You would think someone passed out, you relax your body, and you drop things. No, my father had the unique capacity to be knocked out cold, but have a firm grip on a cup. But if you move the cup, he'd wake up. Go figure. He used to be angry and nasty. He was abusive towards my younger brother, to the point where I didn't want to go to college originally because I was afraid of what he would have done when I wasn't there. He is another reason why I left home at a young age. When I got engaged, told me that he would not walk me down the aisle. And that is even before I told him I was having my wedding at the church. So me and him, I definitely keep my distance from him. So he's my father, but he's not my dad. And what I feel really blessed is I picked the perfect dad for my daughter. And it didn't dawn on me how much that meant to me until Haley has gotten older. Because I'm definitely the person that wants to take everything on their shoulders and take care of everything. But it took me stepping back because I knew it was becoming overwhelming, and letting my husband take the reins for some things as Haley has grown up to make me realize how good of a dad he is. It brings me more joy to watch those two together than for me to do anything with her. They are two peas in the pod, and it's so hilarious watching them together because their personalities are so alike. They argue, but at the same time, they mess with me a lot. Like, there's times where he comes up with a silly joke and she repeats it, and I see him snickering in the background and she's laughing. They have broom fights. Long story, but it involves broomsticks and she likes lightsabers. They work on his truck a lot. I mean, her favorite vehicle is my husband's rickety Ford Ranger because she just likes to be able to have conversations with him and bounce up and down with him in the truck. She loves to go Home Depot with him, which causes issues because if he goes without her, she gets really mad. They love to be outside together doing gardening because I kill plants, so thank God they're in the house because our front yard would look a mess. But one thing when I became a mom is, and most parents feel this way, I wanted to give Haley everything I didn't have. So her having such a strong and awesome male figure in her life has been a blessing for me. And she will grow up without some of the issues I have when it comes to that. Because my father is a lot of the reason why I had a lot of self-esteem and self-worth issues because a lot of people use the phrase misery loves company. My father is the definition of that because he has a lot of demons and issues he's never dealt with. So he tried to, and still does sometimes, bring others down because he's unhappy with himself. But he won't get help for it. That's what I've learned to distance myself from him because that toxicity I don't need, and I try to keep him away from Haley as much as I can. So is there a difference between a father and a dad? Yes. A father is biological. Yes. Anybody can be a father. It don't take much to be a father, but it takes work to be a dad. And I see it every day in my husband's interaction with our daughter. He works every day to be a dad to her. And I can't thank him enough for that. So with this episode, I would like to thank my husband, Anthony Hoff, for being such a great dad. Haley loves you, and I love you too. Thank you for checking out the All Life's Hats podcast. Stay tuned for more.